Hi, I'm Robin.
I'm Luca.
And I'm Pablo. And we're DeWolff. And this is the Blues Podcast.
Hello, I'm Big Boy Bloater, and as the guy said, you are tuned in to the Blues Podcast. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's a real pleasure to have a chat with you. I'm very excited about this.
What?
I always like to start off with some sort of history of the band and all that, and I'm fairly familiar with you guys. I've been playing you quite a lot on my radio show on Feedback Radio and all that. I'm loving the sound, loving the new album. Looking forward to playing that a lot when it comes out. Obviously, I'm quite familiar with what you're playing, but I wanted to have a little catch up this morning, just familiarise myself with what you guys are doing. So I went onto YouTube. I typed in DeWolff. And I spelt it completely wrong, and I got some really weird kind of music. I didn't realise at the time, and I thought, have the guys really changed their sound? What's going on? What's going on? So what I'm getting at really is I want to know where the name came from and the spelling of it, because that's not the spelling I was expecting, and I put it into YouTube all wrong and all that. So let's start off with DeWolff. Where did the name come from?
Well, that's a long time back. I think 13 years ago we started, and we wanted to have a cool name, but we didn't have any idea what to choose.
It's a very cool name. I like it, yeah.
But we were all big fans of the movie Pulp Fiction, and there's this character, Mr. Wolf.
Yeah.
And we thought, that sounds cool. Let's make it DeWolff, but spell it a little bit differently, like a Cadillac DeVille or something.
Yeah.
So, well, does it really have a meaning or something? It's just because we thought it looked cool and it sounded cool. But I think you typed in The Wolf on YouTube.
I typed
T-H-E.
in DeWolff, but I put an E on the end instead of the double F, so it was DeWolff. And it came up with some sort of, I can't remember what it was. It was just weird. It was weird. It wasn't you guys. And I was slightly freaked out and worried for a second. I thought, oh my God, I've got the whole thing wrong. What am I going to do? But no, it turned out okay.
Oh, I'm really curious what you found.
Look
you
at
didn't
it.
type in D-Wolf.
No, all one word.
That turns our pretty cool band name into a really shitty band name.
It was something from the 1970s, I think. It was just a bit weird. I thought I'd taken something hallucinogenic or something. I don't know. It was just very strange. Anyway, but
Okay.
so yeah, I do like the name. Have you guys ever run into the problem of people misspelling it before, like on festival posters and stuff like that? Does that get you down? Or
Lots of times. We usually what happens is people put a space in between the E and the W. They especially in Holland, because your THE.
Yeah.
In our language is DE. That's the word for the thing or the whatever, or the wolf. That's what people think. So they put DE space wolf, or they just they put it together DEW, but they don't put the W in capital letters, and then it looks kind of weird too. Or they use one F.
We've come across some strange things. I think we also saw the Wolfie or something like that,
Yeah.
That's how you spelled it.
I think
how you spelled it, right?
That's what I
with
put
E
in this morning. I think, yeah, with an E on the end rather than a second F. So, yeah.
That is so stupid.
I know. This is what my teachers told me, but I didn't listen, and here I am now, So, should have listened more at school, but what you gonna do?
I always wondered what English-speaking people, what's the first thing that pops into their head when they see our band name? Is it like a nut wolf, so a DeWolff, something that hasn't wolf in it, or what? What do you think it means when you see our band name?
No, that never occurred to me at all, but now it does completely. Yeah, now you've put that in my head. It's like you've DeWolffed yourselves. I don't know. You're too hairy to be DeWolffed. Yeah.
And when we break up and do a reunion tour, we're gonna call ourselves Rewolf.
Rewolf. Yeah. Love it.
Unwolfed.
That's almost worth
And
just
I
splitting
see
up for,
opportunity
right?
for a female cover band. That's
list
really
goes
why
on.
we picked this band name, because it provides lots of opportunities for cool spin-offs.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, being called Big Boy Bloater, I've fallen foul of the festival poster many times. I've had many wrong spellings and all that, so I do sympathise. But none of my wrong spelt names were as good as yours. So I'm quite jealous.
What do you play? Do you play like guitar?
I do. Apparently, I play a little bit. Yeah, I play a bit of guitar and do a bit of singing and
okay,
a bit of wheeling and dealing, a bit of ducking and diving.
And why are you called Big Boy Bloat? Is it because you're a big boy?
Well, you'll have to come over here and find out, won't you?
You know what bloat means in Dutch?
I feel like I'm going to find out right now. Tell me.
Naked.
Hey, well, I'm happy about that. That's better than what it means in English. So there you go. Yeah.
But you spell it slightly different. It's B-L-O-O-T.
Okay, yeah. Do you know what? I think I've had it spelt on a poster like that before, actually, probably in Holland. So yeah, yeah. They're probably thinking it's going to be some sort of stripper or something.
Show and they were disappointed seeing you dressed up.
Oh yeah! Oh, that brings tears to the eyes. I'm going to move on. Let's talk a little bit about how you got together, because so it's quite interesting. Two of you are brothers, right? It wouldn't be one of your brothers, but two of you are brothers. Let's let me know who are the brothers.
Luca and Pablo.
Luca and Pablo. So obviously you guys knew each other from the family, right? And growing up,
yeah, the moment I saw Luca for the first time was a very awkward situation.
What, really? Was it not a pleasant situation?
It was awkward. He was literally coming out of my mother when I first saw him.
Yeah. Luca, how did you feel about that? Do you remember that?
I can't remember. No.
Let's fast forward a little bit now. I don't think we need any more visions of that for the moment. Thank you. How did you guys start playing? Were your parents like keen to get you into playing instruments, or is it something that came from you and you just said, "Mum, buy us instruments, buy us drums, buy us guitars"? What happened? How did it come about?
Well, my father and Pablo's father, he always listened a lot to music. And he also sung in a cover band. So he many times he brought us with him to rehearsals and stuff. And there was music playing 24 hours a day at home. So I think Pablo was 9 when he started playing guitar, and I was 10 years old when I started playing drums. And oh yeah, I was 8 years old. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it was mainly because we were listening to music all the time, and it really inspired us to pick up an instrument and become part of the music, to play music.
What kind of music were you listening to back then?
I was a big time Metallica fan when I was from when I was 7 years old until I think 10 years old, and that was the whole reason I wanted to play guitar. I wanted to be a Kirk Hammett and play like the wow stuff. Yeah. And then it was a big disappointment at first when I got my first guitar. I actually saved up to buy my first guitar myself, and when I got it, I had to take guitar lessons, and I had to read music, and I didn't understand what it was for. I just wanted to play Master of Puppets, and then it was a big disappointment that it was really hard to play that stuff. It was impossible for me then. So then I kind of gave up on the guitar until I was, I think, about 10 and discovered Nirvana, and that was kind of a better way to learn to play some chords and songs, stuff like that.
Yeah. I completely sympathise with you actually there, because it was the same thing for me. I really wanted to play guitar. My parents got me a guitar, and it was like a nylon string classical guitar, and it's like, this is not what I wanted. I wanted to make noise. And I actually ended up like rigging up a pickup for it and plugging it into my dad's hi-fi and cranking it right up so it distorted a little bit and kind of trying to get the sound, but it didn't. Yeah,
the Willie Nelson sound.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was the same with the drums. I wanted to play drums, but first I had to take snare drum lessons.
Oh.
So I took 1.5 years of snare drum lessons, and then I got so sick and tired of it, and I smashed through the book, with my drumstick, like just pure frustration. and then I actually quit like for 6 months, I think. But then my parents bought me a real drum kit when I was 10 years old. And from then on, I started practicing more because, that was the fun part, playing drums, being able to play fills. I was listening to Mike Portnoy and Thomas Lang, and but that are not my big inspirations anymore. But these were guys that were just playing drums, so that's what I wanted. And then a couple of years later, I started discovering guys like Mitch Mitchell from Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Yep.
I started watching videos of Buddy Rich playing drum solos in the 1950s and 60s, and I started watching John Bonham from Led Zeppelin. And then when I was like 12 years old, those were my biggest inspirations.
What was it that made it about those instruments that made you want to play? I mean, guitar and drums. What was it that made you want to pick those up? I mean, was it? I don't know. I mean, drums. I always think, oh, you've got so many cases to carry and things to unload and all that. I mean, that's the first thing I thought about. I'll be a guitarist, even better a singer. But was it like the drummers get all the girls? What was it that made you want to play the drums and the guitar respectively?
Whew. I have no idea why I wanted to play drums. I think maybe I wanted to play guitar, but Pablo already was playing guitar, so I was like, okay, what's next? Maybe drums.
You don't want to go to bass.
So we could at least play together me playing the drums, Pablo guitar. But I'm not sure. There was not like one moment I can remember that I was like, okay, now I wanna play the drums. Maybe that was different for you, Pablo?
Yeah, I always wanted to play guitar since I can remember. I think there's actually a picture of me and Luca on this toy drum set and me on a toy guitar, just banging away when we were like really young, like before '97. This was anyway. I always, when I heard Metallica and before that, our dad used to play a lot of music like Pearl Jam, and when I heard guitar and guitar solos and the noise it can produce, I was like, oh man, that's what I want to do.
Let's move on over to Robin. Yes, we got Robin here as well. Hello, Robin. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great.
Finally, your time has come.
Yeah.
So let's. How did you get into play? I mean, you play keyboards, right? You play Hammond. How did that all start?
Well, in primary school, I actually started with the recorder, like the flute thing, because all my friends were playing that, and I did that a year, and then I got to choose between piano and guitar. My parents sent me to a music school, and I chose the guitar because I thought, you can take that anywhere.
Yeah.
So then I had some guitar lessons, and then I bought a keyboard from a friend, and I started playing keyboard without having any lessons. And then my parents thought, maybe you want to play piano, have piano lessons. So they bought a piano for me, and I took some classical piano lessons because that was the only kind of piano music that they taught at that music school. And then when I was still playing guitar, I joined the band that accompanied a youth choir, and that's actually when I met Pablo, because he was playing electric guitar in that band.
Okay.
And I joined with my acoustic nylon guitar that you talked about. And I remember Pablo thinking that I was a kind of a douche with the classical acoustic guitar, and I couldn't play that instrument in that band because it was the band was way too loud, and so I started playing bass guitar in that band, and then I got those piano lessons, and then finally the parents of Pablo and Luca, they dug a basement in their garden as a rehearsal room for them, and that's when they asked me to join them and maybe start a band. And then I thought, I can't play piano in a band because that's not cool, because piano is like Bach and Mozart. But then I saw this guy playing a key instrument on stage that sounded really cool. and had a amplifier with spinning speakers, which is the Leslie amplifier, the famous Leslie amplifier that goes with a Hammond organ. And that's what I thought, that's what I have to play in a band, because that's really cool. So that's how I started playing the Hammond. Yeah.
So are you using a real Hammond on the road these days?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
Yeah, you guys are still quite young, aren't you? You are okay. You can still lift things. You haven't got bad backs yet, right? It won't be long.
Well, we've had some strained backs on tour, but luckily we can afford someone that helps us with lifting stuff. Kind of a roadie. He goes along.
A kind of a roadie. You mean you have a stupid
No, he
friend?
is a roadie, but he's more of a fluffer. Yeah. No, he tunes the guitars and drives, and yeah. He does he does everything that we want.
He sounds like a good guy. Can I have his number? Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, I need a guy like that.
Yeah, he's a great guy. A really nice guy also.
Shout out to the roadie guy. What's his name?
Shout out to Marty.
What a guy.
Party with an M.
He's like a party but with an M. All right.
Yeah. Marty.
On the subject of touring, let's talk about that a little bit, because obviously the last year, well, 2020 that we've had, not much touring's been going on. How's that worked out for you guys? Is it been something you've been able to sort of go, well, look, okay, we can't go touring, so we're going to write or record, or have you just kind of like sat in the corner crying and going, I want to play gigs?
I think we did both. So when we were on tour when everything happened. We played one show in Czech Republic. And after that, we were supposed to have a show in Austria, and on the way there, we followed the news, and our booking agency called us, and they canceled the show. So then we went to Hungary because we were supposed to have a show there, and then the day after, when we supposed to have the show, also in the afternoon, they called us. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So I think we were on tour for 7 days, but we only played the first day, and then we just went back to Holland. And we cried in the corner. But then really soon we started writing and making an album, because that's the only thing that you can do as a musician when a whole event business is on the rocks. How do you say that? Gone.
Gone to shit, as we say. Yeah. Gone to shit is the official term, I think. Yeah, for the music business. So the new album, has that been like written and recorded in during the lockdown, following all the rules? Are you wearing masks for the cover?
Yeah, that's why it's called. No, that's why you can't hear my words. Yeah.
No, we started. At first, we started writing some songs on Zoom meetings. Actually, so Pablo had this demo. He had some ideas for a song, and we would meet on Zoom and discuss. Okay, what should be the lyrics? What should be the chords? Etc. And then a couple of days later, Paulo and me would meet up in the studio to record the basic tracks, and then we digitalized it and sent it to Robin, and he did his keyboard parts at his home, and then we put everything together. So that was a really new and weird way of writing and recording. We started coming together with the three of us in the studio, started writing songs and recording together, and that was we did all kinds of different approaches to writing and recording in this lockdown period.
Definitely weird and strange. Is it? Do you think it's ever something that in the future, once the world is back to normal, if that ever happens, do you think it's everything you would try again and go, do you know what? We did that once. Let's try it again. See if it just. Or do you think no? I never want to do it again if I don't have to.
Well, I'd rather just be
or
here
just don't
in
care.
the studio with the three of us. That's then in that case you're just making music with three guys in one room making music, and it feels weird to discuss songwriting through a Zoom meeting. It doesn't feel right. It's just not natural.
You guys, I've heard that you love to jam a lot, and you're possibly known as a bit of a jam band. So how does that even translate to like discussing songs beforehand on Zoom? I mean, surely you just want to get in the room together, turn it up loud, and play your asses off, right? I mean. having a business meeting on Zoom about it. That sounds like it wouldn't work. But.
Yeah, it's really weird. But on the other hand, we a couple of years ago we started learning how to write good songs, and a good song can be written on a Zoom meeting. I think, it's.
I mean, if a good song can be written in a van, while you're hungover, you can also write a song in a Zoom meeting together.
But I would say hungover in a van, that emotes lots of feelings, lots of negative feelings, lots of positive feelings. I mean, Zoom meetings are just like flat and horrible, aren't they? It's just like no feelings whatsoever. It's just horrible.
Well, I think what you're talking about is romance. There's no romance to a Zoom meeting. There is romance to sitting in a van hungover, but we've all been there, hungover in a van. In reality, there's not a lot of romance to that either.
I guess not, but there is the mysticism. For people who haven't done it, it does sound very romantic. You're right. Whereas Zoom meetings, everybody knows it's just a bunch of crap in it. So yeah.
We only wrote one song in a Zoom meeting, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
What was it called? Is it called My Connection's Shit? Oh, sorry, I can't hear you.
Is my microphone on? It's called Yes You Do.
Speaking of, carry on with the touring thing. You did a few shows, crowdless shows, right? Over live streams and stuff. Again, sort of Zoom of gigs, right?
Well, yeah, we did one. Like
okay.
on the way back home from the tour that didn't happen. We stopped at this venue in the south of the Netherlands, and they asked us if we wanted to do this live stream show. And we were actually at that moment having like a conversation. We were thinking like maybe we should record something in the studio that people can watch live. And then this request came from this venue, and we were like, oh, well, let's do it like that because they have cameras and they have the means to do this. And then we thought it would be nice if like a couple of thousand, if like 1,000 or 2,000 people see this show. And it was, in the end, it was viewed by, I think, 48,000 people. Yeah, so that was really crazy. And then in the months after that, I think we only did 2 streaming shows in total in the whole pandemic period. And we were very lucky to be able to play a bunch of real shows with an audience, because we did like 5 shows in a venue here in Utrecht when the restrictions weren't as bad, and there were, I think, 400 people at these shows, or 250 or 300. And then something really cool also happened. We got this request from this very renowned orchestra here in the Netherlands. They asked us if we wanted to play a bunch of shows at this super beautiful theater in Amsterdam together with this 50-headed orchestra. So we were like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And then we did 4 shows like that in front of 500, so 4 times 500. So that was pretty cool. And for the rest, we released 3 albums in 2020. So we've been quite keeping ourselves quite busy.
That's pretty good going, right? You know, for being locked down and that, 3 albums in a year of a huge pandemic. That's pretty good going. I mean, you'd have to go some to really to do any more than that. Are you really happy with the 3 albums? Were they everything you expected them for? Would it have been slightly different if the lockdown things hadn't happened?
Well, 2 of the 3 were totally unexpected. Like at the start of 2020, if you would have told me we were gonna make 2 other albums than the Tascam Tapes in 2020, I would have said, I would have looked at the schedule and be like, no, that's not possible, dude. We have too many shows to make 2 albums. So there was no expectation. Aside from that, I think they topped our expectations.
Let's talk a little bit about the Tascam Tapes. That album. I mean, that's quite a unique idea, isn't it? How did that come about?
There was a big European tour planned at the end of 2018 already. And right before the tour started, Pablo came up with this idea to record an album on tour. In the van, you know, in backstages, in hotel rooms. We were like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty cool, but how are we going to do that? And then he came up with this old Tascam cassette tape recorder, which is a portable thing, so we could bring it everywhere. And we could plug the guitar straight into that Tascam tape recorder, and I had this little device with drum samples on it. And I started, just a couple of days before the tour, I started sampling drum beats from old records, old soul and funk records. And Robin had this little portable synthesizer, which he could, play in the van, and we, had power from the battery from the van.
Yeah.
And we just started playing songs, grooving, and that's how that idea.
Yeah. We had two speakers. We put them under the seats. So the only way to properly kind of hear what we were doing was by turning them up super loud. So we had these two speakers under the seats, and we were just jamming away, and we had no idea if it actually sounded good or what the fidelity of what we were doing was. And it was fun. It was really raw.
You guys make it sound like fun, but when I started out, that is all there was. That's all I had. I had one of those little Tascam Porter Studio things, and 4 tracks. That's all you could record. You could start to bounce stuff, but the quality starts to go, and there's a load of hiss, and it's rubbish.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to get a proper, once digital recording came out, I thought, this is fantastic. I don't quite understand.
The other way around.
I see recording on the road. I get that. That's a nice idea, and would certainly add a different flavour to the album. And everything.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. It was also really intense because, there is, of course, a lot of spare time when you're on tour. A lot of hours you're just sitting in the van, doing nothing, reading a book, sleeping, being hungover. And now all this time was put into, writing and recording a new album. So it was just, constantly we were on this high level of creativity. And then in the evenings we would play shows, and then the next day we stepped into the van and plugged in the guitar and the synthesizer, and we started playing again.
Yeah.
So
see, I think a lot of people's idea of being in a band on the road is it's all hookers and cocaine, isn't it? And that's what they think it is. Party time. But there's the reality of it. I'm glad someone sort of pointed out the reality of. The reality is being in a van, recording an album onto a horrible little Tascam cassette machine. I mean, you guys, you're flying the flag for reality in music. I think that's great.
Actually, there's talking about reality. There's a documentary about this tour when we were recording this album, and it's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it's we filmed it ourselves. Shout out to Marty again. He filmed a lot of the footage. Yeah, so it's really, you can see how we made the record in the van. I actually got food poisoning on tour. We had to cancel a show, and it's all in there. And it's very physically tiring to be on tour, and especially when you're also making an album in all the free time that you have.
Yeah,
but it was an amazing experience and adventure.
I've actually had food poisoning on tour 2 times.
Who hasn't?
I actually threw up on stage whilst singing. That was really But even worse than that, with the band we were playing, we all got food poisoning at the same time. We'd been out to a sandwich shop, a Subway, and eat fresh, right? Yeah, and we'd got these subs, and we got food poisoning. Like 20 minutes before we went on, we were like fighting over who could use the toilet. It was, both ends were going at once. Kind of, and I did a bit of a sick up on stage. And I looked round to the keyboard player, and he looked at me. He was playing like that, and he went, "I've shit myself," and it was just one of the most wonderful memories in my whole life. I got a good song out of it though, so it was all right about that. It's a silver lining to everything. But I think everyone should try food poisoning on the road. It's it should be part of any music academy's syllabus, I think. Yeah.
And since you're on the road and usually in a hurry because you have to drive a certain distance, there's no time to stop. So everybody is in the middle of your food poisoning.
Yeah.
Like when Robin had to, throw up his intestines, he did so in a bag, and we were all around him going like, "Oh, are you all right, Robin? Are you? Oh my God, it stinks!"
It's better than what Luca once did in Spain. He was really hungover, and then in the morning when we started driving, he was sitting in the middle seat, and he was trying to sleep, I think, and then in between the driver and the guy next to the driver, and then we had to clean the whole van because it smelled of puke.
Oh, nice.
We had a long journey back then.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going back to the Zoom meeting writing and all that kind of thing. When you guys are writing songs,
It's intriguing, right?
when you guys are writing songs and all that, is it a complete total collaboration, or is it one of you guys sort of comes up with the meat of the idea and then it's just put together and a few bits are added in by the other guys? I mean, is there one real solid songwriter and the rest are kind of hanging on? Are you all generally put in as much as each other?
Some of the songs I write at home, like kind of, I mean, the lyrics and the melody and the chords, kind of.
That's all of it, right? The lyrics and the melody and the chords. There's nothing else, is it?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't come up with like a drum pattern or a bass pattern or a Hammond pattern or whatever. It's just like the meat and bones of the song. And some songs are just like half finished ideas that we work out with the three of us, and some songs just start from jams. Like a song like Treasure City Moonchild just came out of a jam and went really quickly, and there's some other songs like that. There's like, I think there's 1/3 of all our songs are being written in one of these three ways, I think.
Robin.
Yeah, it's different in every album. For example, this album, we couldn't meet up that much because of the virus. So that's why a lot of the stuff came from Pablo. But other albums like Rougarou or Thrust, it was, everything. Tascam Tapes, it was the three of us. When something was written, we were all there.
Yeah. Well, you have to be when you're in a van together, don't you? So that's
Yeah, true.
There's no choice.
Unless you puke a lot, and then you have to sit in the back with all the instruments.
The seat of shame, is it?
Yeah.
Just again, going back to something you said earlier. You said a phrase earlier that I really liked. I guess it's just a translation language thing. But I wanted to ask you about collaborations, if you've got any ideas of stuff coming up. I mean, you already said earlier that you worked with a 50-headed orchestra, I think you said. Is that right?
Yeah.
I've never heard that it's said that way before, but I really like that. A 50-headed orchestra.
50-headed.
Makes me think of
I saw you laughing when he said that. That's when I thought, maybe it's not an English thing to say, but that's how we say it in Dutch. Like, it's literally translated. But maybe you had this Medusa kind of image in your head, like a 50-headed orchestra. Just
instruments and arms and this beast kind of like, playing. And it's, I really like the sound of it. It's another idea for an album, I think, really. But
it's a very rare animal that roams the plains of the Netherlands.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you have to do? If you chop one head off, does it grow back again or something? Is it?
Yeah.
Xylophone pops.
Yeah. I'm actually I'm living in France now. I've just moved to France, so I'm very aware that you can translate stuff, but it doesn't always translate exactly. So I really like that 50-headed orchestra. In the UK, they would say 50-piece orchestra, I guess. But 50-headed is better.
But then it's in 50 pieces.
As not as in the coin, not as no. It's all getting very complicated now. So if there was 10, you'd say a 10-piece orchestra, or
a 10-piece orchestra.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But I prefer 10-headed. That's much better. That is much better.
Better,
I love that.
We're a 3-headed band.
Yeah.
Three-headed band.
Yeah, talking about collaboration, any things coming up you guys are doing, or is there anything you think?
We did some cool collaborations on the album that's going to be released. So because of the pandemic, a lot of musicians that we know from around the world, they couldn't play shows, so they had a lot of free time. and we were already recording at a distance from each other. So it was really easy for us to contact Ian Perez, for example. He's the former bass player of Wolfmother. We met him once in Australia, and we had a really nice connection, and we jammed. And we always wanted to play with him, and this was kind of a way of doing that. So he played bass on Yes You Do. He played bass on another track, This Land, but so, and we also did a collaboration with a French singer-songwriter called Theo Lawrence. We're a really big fan of him, and also Luther Dickinson, the former guitar player of the Black Crowes. He played in on a song that didn't make the album, unfortunately. But it was not
because of him.
Have you told him that yet?
Yeah, he knows.
Okay.
Or not?
He's still talking to you.
Maybe now he knows.
Yeah, I reckon. I was going to say, because you guys are a trio, a fairly unconventional lineup of drums, guitar, and Hammond. No bass guitar. So, is there any plans in the future to expand the band? Maybe add a bass player or bagpipes or something?
Like a four-headed band.
Yeah.
No, that's impossible. There's only 3-headed exists, or 50-headed. No, we did some shows with the bass players before, like because on the album we have lots of bass guitar, like Pablo dubs the bass guitar, or we have some friends playing bass guitar for us. But live, it's always the 3 of us, and sometimes we tried using a bass guitar player, but the whole dynamic on stage is kind of changes. It's cool and fun for 1 or 2 times. As a special occasion, but it kind of takes away the flexibility that we have with the 3 of us. We've been playing for 13 years, and you can feel that on stage, and I think the audience also feels that. It's like a strong construction, like the power triangle of the 3 of us. So I don't think we'll ever change that.
What did you say lately? A triangle is a stronger construction than a...
Lucas said that. Yeah, a triangle is a stronger construction than a square.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the strongest in nature, isn't it? It's the strongest. Yeah, that's what they say apparently.
Yeah. Well, in bands, it's the same. Power trio.
I don't know about that. I've met some triangles in bands that have been terrible, but yeah. We'll move on from that. I won't name any names. No, I tell you what. You tell me the worst place you've ever played, and I'll tell you. I'll tell you some names. Go on. Let's dish the dirt. Let's dish the dirt with DeWolff.
Yeah, you want to do that?
Oh, I'm almost up for dishing the dirt, man. Yeah.
I think what's the worst place we played? It's Angoulême.
It's in France.
I know it very well. Yeah, it's not that far from where I'm living. Yeah.
Angoulême.
Yeah. It's about an hour.
We did a show there, and I think we went inside, and people didn't know. Like the people that worked there didn't know there was going to be a band playing that night, and we were treated like such. Yeah.
There were like 3 people in the audience.
If the venue didn't even know we were playing, the people from Angoulême really didn't know we were playing. So there were a lot of people.
So it wasn't not fun because of the Angoulême people. It wasn't any fun because of a lack of Angoulême people.
Okay. Yeah.
And then after the show, they arranged a sleeping accommodation for us, which was the crappiest band apartment we've ever seen. On top of the venue, like upstairs,
we just used toilet paper in the hallway, and the beds were really crispy and crunchy.
Nice.
And there was a substance in the shower that we thought, we can be near this. So I think
breathing.
I think we slept for 2 hours, and then we drove to the next city and booked a hotel there. Yeah, that was terrible.
Very wise. Yeah, very wise. I had a similar experience myself once playing in a place in Worcester. And the guy was like really enthusiastic about it before we got there. He was like, "Yeah, you guys are gonna love it. It's a great venue. Come on down. We've got loads of people coming." So we went all the way down there. We, same thing again. Like 3 people turned up. It was just really shit gig. And then he said, "Yeah, you guys can stay over. I've got accommodation all sorted out for you." But it was actually upstairs above the stage. It was just like one room with a couple of sofas. And it was a 6-piece band I was playing in at the time. So it was like, where are we going to sleep? We all ended up kind of like bedding down on the floor. But I think at like 4 a.m. the cleaners came in with the floor polisher, and it was like really noisy, and it was just like, it was shit from start to finish. They were the days. Gigs, I do miss them so much, I really do.
Yeah, we miss them.
Yeah. So that's your worst gig. What's been your favourite gig so far? What's your favourite venue, and where's your favourite?
There are a lot of favorite gigs. Oh yeah, we did a show in Madrid. Not the last one. The last one was also really cool, but the one before that, I think there was somebody crying in the audience of how cool he thought the show was, and there was just this energy everywhere, and everybody felt it, and we felt it, and the audience felt it, and musically stuff happened that never happened before. And it was an other dimensional experience.
That's great. I love it when that happens. What about future? Is there anywhere you guys really want to play that you haven't kind of conquered yet?
Yeah, the UK.
Really?
I mean, we've played some shows in London, but those are mainly just showcase kind of gigs.
Yeah.
So and we really had a tour planned in 2020. We wanted to go to the UK, but that got cancelled, of course. So we're hoping that, well, maybe by the end of this year. Oh.
So
maybe not.
What about Brexit? Is that going to affect things for you guys?
Well, that's going to make things a lot more complicated than it was, I think, for bands touring the UK.
I think
and the other way around, of course. So I'm really curious how that will work out. And we want to go to the United States as well. We've been there to record in 2014.
Yeah.
We've never did an actual tour through the United States. So that's on our bucket list. And hopefully we can do this, maybe by the end of this year or next year, early next year, hopefully. But we'll see.
I did a couple of tours in the States a while back, 2000, I think, 1999 and 2000. And the thing that got me the most was just how big the place was, touring, driving from city to city. You know, over here in UK, especially, but in Europe as well, you can drive 4 or 5 hours and get to the next city. Sometimes over there we were driving 8, 9, 12 hours. It was like ridiculous. The huge size of it. That's what I remember the most about touring in the States.
You can write a lot of songs in 12 hours.
Yeah, or sleep a lot. Which is what I did mostly.
Yeah. It's crazy. Well, Pablo has been to the United States a couple of times for just visiting, and the stories he tells, it's like mind-blowing. Because it can be such a beautiful country. It's a weird country as well, but it can be so beautiful, and I'm really hoping that we're going on tour there someday.
I've got a question that I always ask. I usually kind of wrap these things up with this question. It's quite an in-depth question, so I'll explain it to you. I want you to imagine, if you can, we're living in the future. The world is a happy place now. We have a world president who keeps everything nice and everybody happy. Unfortunately, though, we get the news that there's a huge meteorite coming towards us. It's the size of like Pluto. It's going to completely obliterate planet Earth, and it's arriving in 3 days. The world president gets on the phone to you guys and he says, DeWolff, he says, I need you guys to come and play the biggest party the world has ever seen, so we can go out on a huge party. We're going to have this big party, everybody enjoying themselves. We're going to have great music. We want you guys to play. So the question is, what song are you going to play for that party? And he says you can have guest musicians as well. So if you want to have some guest musicians, who would you have come and play with you?
I think Treasure City Moonchild from our new record, because that's kind of like a party song. everybody can go, "Can you still remember?" And we'd ask Chris Robinson on vocals, but also Rod Stewart.
Right? Wow. Yeah, he's going to be old by then, but yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
He might have some robot parts
to defreeze
keep him alive, but he'll be all right, yeah.
Yeah, we have to wake him from some kind of deep frozen sleep.
Yeah, his head will probably be frozen, and I have to wake it up and put it on a robot body so he can just come on and sing for the last.
Yeah, like this thing in Toy Story.
Yeah. I can see Rod Stewart doing that. Yeah, I really can. Yeah.
And we'll ask. Who are we gonna ask on guitar? Jimmy Page. Oh, and we'll ask Robert Plant too. And what drummer are we gonna ask?
I want to play the drums.
Oh, I was thinking we can put together this whole new band, and then we can not play and party.
Oh.
Now you see, you guys, I'm really impressed by that answer, because this is what I ask this question every time on the Blues Podcast, and everybody always comes up with this really great band, and I always say to them, if I had that band on stage, I would just go and sit down and watch that band, because I wouldn't want to be playing. I'd want to watch. And then you guys have come up with it. That's genius. I think that's brilliant. You're the first people to come up with that idea, and I salute you for it. Well done. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine being paid in like supercars, and then just like an hour before the meteorite's gonna strike, you can drive like to Grand Canyon and drive the supercar off a cliff, and that's how you're gonna go.
Whilst playing a guitar solo, I hope. Standing up. Yeah.
Mad Max style.
Yeah. I like it. Well, I think you guys have absolutely nailed that one. I think the world president's going to be very happy with that. And planet Earth is going to go out on a high, totally, for that. That sounds absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, sure.
Have you got any last words for the fans out there? Any words of wisdom or cautionary tales?
Well, I would say stay safe, and we really hope to visit the UK soon and play your lovely cities and venues. And
I think, and if you're losing your mind right now over the COVID thing, I think our new album Wolffpack provides a perfect remedy.
Never miss an opportunity to plug the album, right? Yeah. There you go, kids. You heard it here first.
And it's only €20 in our web shop, www.
Guys, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you this afternoon. I'm wishing you lots and lots of luck and success on the road and on record for the future years coming. And I'm so looking forward to that last gig of Planet Earth. Really am. It's going to be fantastic.
We too.
Yeah, see you
DeWolff,
there.
thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye.
So if you've enjoyed this, why not like and subscribe to the Blues Podcast right now? All right?
Yeah.